Hello and welcome to English Spark Official. I'm Zayden, joined as always by Alara.
Hey everyone! We're so excited about today's topic.
When you learn a new language, you usually think the hardest part is going to be the vocabulary, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah, I mean, you spend hours and hours memorizing these huge lists of words.
Right.
And you study the grammar rules until you know them perfectly. And, in your quiet bedroom looking at your textbook, you feel really good about it.
You feel totally prepared.
Exactly. You feel prepared. But then, and we've all been there, you step into a real coffee shop.
Oh boy. Yes.
The person behind the counter asks you a really simple question, and suddenly your brain just completely shuts down.
It just goes totally blank.
You forget every single word you studied. So today, we're looking at why your brain treats that coffee shop worker like a dangerous predator.
Right, like a tiger.
Yeah. And why the secret to speaking a new language isn't learning more words at all.
It's a terrifying moment, isn't it? I mean, you know the information is in your head.
Yeah, you know it.
Exactly. But the connection between your brain and your mouth is it's broken.
Completely broken.
And this is something that happens to, well, almost every single person who tries to learn a second language.
Right. And that brings us right to our mission for today. So welcome to today's deep dive.
We're so glad you're here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this right now, you're actively learning English, maybe you're at an A2 or a B2 level.
Meaning you know the basics, but you're really trying to get better at real everyday conversations.
Exactly. If that's you, this deep dive is specially designed for you.
It really is.
We're looking at a fascinating framework from a program called the English Spark.
Yeah, it's a great program.
And the title of their work is Stop Stuttering Now: Overcoming Linguistic Mental Blocks.
That's a powerful title.
It is. We're going to unpack this framework today to discover how you can, stop freezing up, find the words you already know, and finally feel completely calm when you speak English.
Because that's the dream, right? The main goal of our source material today is to help people communicate like real, natural human beings.
Not like robots.
Exactly. The authors of the program point out a very painful truth. Nobody wants to sound like a textbook when they talk to another person.
No, of course not. It's super awkward.
It is. But traditional learning methods often turn us into exactly that.
Yeah, they really do.
They turn us into these machines that just recite memorized phrases. And, well, that method completely fails in the real world.
It totally fails. So let's get right into the core idea from the source.
Okay, let's do it.
The title uses this phrase, linguistic mental block. Let's break that down into really simple terms for our listeners. What exactly is happening when we experience this block?
Right. So linguistics simply means anything related to language or words.
Okay, simple enough.
And mental means it happens in your mind, right? Inside your brain.
Got it.
And a block is, well, it's a wall that stops you from moving forward.
So it's wall in your brain stopping the words.
Exactly. So a linguistic mental block is a very specific event. It's that awful moment when you know the English words in your head.
You know them.
You fully understand the grammar, but when you open your mouth to speak, you just freeze.
Yeah, the freeze.
You might stutter, or you might mix up your words, or your mind might just go completely blank, like a computer screen just turning black.
Oh, that's such a good way to describe it, like a computer crashing.
Yeah.
But wait, let me ask you this. Is a mental block really just a fancy way of saying you don't know enough vocabulary? Because, when I can't think of a word, my first thought is usually, I guess I need to study more.
Right, right.
Maybe I'm stuttering just because I don't own the right tools yet. Is it the same thing?
That is the most common misunderstanding, actually, and the source material is very, very clear about separating the two.
Okay, how so?
Well, not knowing a word is an information problem. You just don't have the data.
Right.
But a mental block is a performance problem. The source specifically targets mental blocks, which means the knowledge is already there, safe in your brain.
It's in there.
It's in there. If I gave you a piece of paper and a pen and you were sitting in a quiet room, you could write the sentence perfectly.
Oh, yeah, because there's no pressure.
Exactly. You could pass the test and get a perfect score. You own the tools. The problem is that panic prevents you from picking up those tools.
Wow. Okay, so the knowledge is locked inside, and the panic is the thing holding the door closed.
Yes, that's exactly it. When your brain feels a sudden sense of pressure or panic, it actually changes how it operates.
Really, like physically?
Yeah. The part of your brain that handles creative thinking, finding words, and building sentences, it just shuts down.
It just turns off.
Completely. The knowledge is trapped. And the English Spark program notes a very specific trigger for this panic.
Okay, what's the trigger?
They observe that these blocks happen most often when learners try to jump straight into using very difficult grammar.
Oh, yeah. Trying to be too perfect.
Right, or when they try to use complex academic jargon without building a foundation first.
Okay, let's clarify academic jargon so we're all on the same page.
Good idea.
Academic jargon, those overly complicated, really difficult words that you mostly see in university textbooks or like research papers.
Yes.
Words that normal people don't really use when they're just chatting on the street.
Exactly right. Learners often think that to sound smart, they need to use the biggest, most difficult words possible.
I used to do that all the time.
We all do it. They try to build this very complex sentence in their head before they even speak.
Right.
But managing difficult grammar and complex jargon, it takes a huge amount of brain energy.
It's exhausting.
It is. So when you try to do that in real time while another person is looking right at you, it overwhelms your brain's processing power.
The computer crashes again.
Exactly. Your brain says, this is too much information, it's too difficult, and boom, it creates a mental block.
Wow. And the source also points out a very strict rule against what they call robotic or repetitive phrasing.
Yes.
They say this causes blocks too.
Yeah.
This is when a learner tries to perfectly remember a sentence they read in a textbook.
Oh, the textbook trap.
Right. They try to recite it perfectly, word for word, like a machine playing a recorded tape. Like, hello, how, do I am, fine.
Yeah, that robotic approach is a huge trap. The block happens because you're putting an impossible amount of pressure on yourself to be perfect.
Right.
You aren't trying to just share an idea or connect with a human being. You're trying to perform a memory test in front of a stranger.
And if you forget one word.
If you forget just one single word from that memorized textbook sentence, the whole machine breaks down.
You completely lose your place.
You lose your place, the panic rushes in, and you freeze completely.
Man. So we have two big causes here. Trying to use words that are too difficult and trying to be a perfect memorized robot.
Exactly.
So to really understand how this pressure works, we need to leave the quiet classroom.
We have to. The classroom isn't the real world.
Right. The source material heavily emphasizes that learning must happen through daily life and real conversations. We need to look at real life. So let's explore a scenario that I think every single person listening to this deep dive can relate to. Let's call it the coffee shop story.
Oh, I love this example. I think the coffee shop is the ultimate testing ground for language learners.
It really is.
It's where theory meets reality.
Okay, so let me paint a vivid picture of this for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Imagine it's Tuesday morning. You're standing in line at a very busy coffee shop in the city.
Very busy.
The environment is totally chaotic. You can hear the loud hissing sound of the espresso machine steaming milk.
Shh.
Right. People are talking loudly at the tables behind you. There's music playing from the ceiling speakers.
It's loud.
It's so loud. The line is moving quickly, and there are like 3 impatient people standing right behind you.
See, you're setting up a high-stress environment. Every one of those details, the noise, the line, the speed, is a piece of data your brain is collecting.
Exactly. And while you're standing in that line, you're preparing. In your head, in your quiet internal voice, you've built the perfect sentence. You say to yourself, I would like a large cappuccino with oat milk, please.
A beautiful sentence.
Right. I would like a large cappuccino with oat milk, please. You know the vocabulary. The grammar is flawless. You feel...
Your conscious mind is ready.
Right. But then the person in front of you grabs their drink and leaves. It's your turn.
Oh, no. Here we go.
You step up to the front counter. The barista, the coffee worker, is moving incredibly fast. They're wiping down the counter. They don't even really look up right away. And they speak to you at top speed.
Fast native speakers are so intimidating.
So intimidating. They don't say the slow, careful textbook greeting you expected. They don't say, good morning, sir. What would you like to order today?
No, they never say that.
Never. Instead, they say, hey there. What can I get started for you?
And that's the trigger, that unexpected speed, the noise, the sudden focus on you.
Total blank.
Yep.
Complete freeze. That beautiful, perfect sentence about the large cappuccino with oat milk. It is gone.
Poof. Disappeared.
It just disappeared from your mind. You start to feel your face getting hot.
Oh, the blushing.
You look at the barista, you stutter, you point your finger at the menu on the wall, and you use single broken words instead of a sentence.
Because that's all you have left.
Right. You say, coffee,
Yeah.
big, milk.
Coffee, big milk.
You knew the perfect sentence 10 seconds ago, and now you're speaking like a caveman. What is actually happening in the brain at that exact moment?
Okay, let's break down why the coffee shop causes such a massive block.
Please do.
In your bedroom or in a quiet language class, you have zero pressure. You have all the time in the world to access your memory.
True.
But the coffee shop is an English-speaking environment loaded with hidden pressures. First, you have time pressure. You know people are waiting behind you.
Yeah, you feel like you have to speak immediately, in less than a second.
Exactly. You feel like if you take 2 seconds to answer, everyone in the store will get angry at you.
Yes, you feel their eyes on the back of your neck.
Yes. Second, you have social pressure. You want this native speaker, the barista, to understand you. You want to sound normal and competent.
Nobody wants to look silly.
Right. You're afraid of looking foolish or making a mistake in public. And third, you have sensory overload. The music, the steaming milk, the multiple conversations, all of these pressures combine, and they send a massive alert signal to your brain's alarm system.
An alarm system.
Yes. Your brain literally interprets this social pressure as physical danger. It says, danger, we're under attack.
Wait, so on a biological level, my brain thinks the barista holding a coffee cup is actually a tiger coming to eat me.
That's a very, very accurate way to look at it.
Wow.
Your brain enters the fight or flight survival mode. And when a human being is in survival mode, the brain stops sending energy to the complex, creative parts of the mind.
It just cuts the power.
It cuts the power. It doesn't care about perfect grammar when a tiger is attacking. It just wants you to survive the next 10 seconds.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
Right. The language center of your brain shuts down, the door locks, and you're left with only your most basic, deeply wired survival instincts.
So that's why your brain throws away the word cappuccino
Right.
and just hands you the words coffee and big.
Yes. Because coffee, big, is survival English.
Survival English, I love that.
It gets the job done when the system is panicking.
Exactly. And connecting this back to our sources requirement, this is the exact reason why learning must involve relatable situations.
Yes, absolutely.
If you only ever study your language books while sitting comfortably on your quiet sofa, you're not preparing your brain's alarm system.
You're really not.
You're not training your body to handle the noise, the speed, and the social pressure of the real world.
It's like practicing how to swim by lying on your living room floor and just, moving your arms around.
Right. You can learn the perfect form. You can read a book about how water works.
But the moment someone pushes you into a real swimming pool...
The water goes up your nose, you can't breathe, and you panic.
Exactly. The living room floor didn't prepare you for the pressure of the deep water. You have to practice in the water.
You have to practice in the water.
Yeah.
You have to expose yourself to the pressure to learn how to manage the pressure.
Yes. So we understand the problem now. The mental block isn't a lack of words. It's a panic response caused by trying to be perfect in a high-pressure environment.
Okay, so if the brain is treating a barista like a predator, our actual goal isn't learning more vocabulary.
No, not at all.
Our goal is figuring out how to turn off that internal alarm system so the words we already know can actually escape our mouths.
Precisely.
And the focus of the source material is deeply centered on learning how to feel calm when speaking.
Yes, calmness is key.
How do we do that? How do we stop the panic response before it starts?
Well, the source outlines a very clear step-by-step strategy for building this necessary calmness. The foundation of their method is this rule. Start with simple vocabulary, then gradually increase difficulty.
Start simple.
Yes, they want you to actively choose the easiest words you know when you begin a conversation.
But wait, doesn't that defeat the purpose of learning a language?
How do you mean?
Well, if I want to improve, and I want to sound fluent, shouldn't I be forcing myself to use the hardest, most advanced words all the time? I mean, that's how we learn, right? By pushing ourselves.
It sounds logical, I know, but in the middle of a high-pressure real-world conversation, that strategy creates the exact mental block we're trying to avoid.
Okay, why?
Think about cognitive load. Think of your brain's energy like a battery on your cell phone.
Okay, a battery.
When you're standing in front of the fast-talking barista, your battery is already draining super fast because of the noise and the social pressure.
Right. I'm already at like 50%.
Exactly. If you then force your brain to search for a really difficult B2 or C1 level vocabulary word, and then you force it to check the complex grammar rules to make sure you're using it right, you use up all your remaining battery power.
And when the battery hits 0, the screen goes black.
The freeze happens.
The freeze happens.
Yes. But when you purposefully choose simple vocabulary, the easy, basic words that you know 100%, the words that feel automatic to you, You remove a huge amount of pressure.
So I'm saving battery.
Yes, you aren't asking your brain to do heavy lifting. Your brain looks at the simple words and says, oh, I know these. I don't have to work hard to use these. This is safe.
Wow, so using simple words is actually a signal to your own body that you aren't in danger.
Exactly.
You're basically telling the alarm system to turn off.
It allows you to relax your shoulders, take a normal breath, and find an easy rhythm. You build momentum.
Right, you get the ball rolling.
Once you're speaking smoothly with simple words for a few sentences and your body feels calm, then you can slowly start adding in those more difficult words.
Because your brain has warmed up.
Right. But the foundation of the conversation must be built on the safe, calm ground of simple words.
Start simple to feel safe. I really, really like that rule.
It's a game changer.
But let's go back to the coffee shop moment. Let's say I'm standing there. The barista asks me the really fast question, and I haven't even had a chance to choose a simple word yet.
Okay.
I feel the panic rising in my chest right away. What is the tool to handle that exact second of panic?
The source material offers a really powerful, specific technique for that exact second.
Oh, what is it?
It's the use of what they call short pauses. And they emphasize that these pauses must be written naturally into your practice.
Short pauses.
Yes. A short pause is your absolute secret weapon for maintaining control and feeling calm.
When you say a short pause, you mean just stopping, just doing nothing.
Stopping, breathing, allowing a moment of silence.
Just silence.
Yes. It is completely acceptable and highly recommended to stop, take a small natural breath, and get yourself 1 or 2 full seconds to think before you open your mouth to respond.
But, I mean, if I pause for 2 or 3 full seconds while ordering a coffee, won't the barista just think, I don't know English at all?
That's the fear, right?
Yeah. Won't people think I'm slow or confused? It feels like standing there in silence would just make me look worse and make the social pressure even higher.
I know. This is a very deep cultural fear for almost every language learner. We're taught that fluency means speaking fast without ever stopping.
Yeah, like a machine gun.
Exactly. But the source points out a crucial fact about natural, human-like conversation.
Okay.
Let's look at native speakers. When you speak your native language with your friends, do you speak nonstop like a machine gun, instantly answering every question with 0 delay?
Well, no, not at all. I stop to think all the time.
Right.
I'll say, or, well, let me see. Or I'll just look up at the ceiling for a second to gather my thoughts before I tell a story.
Native speakers pause constantly.
That's true.
Pausing is a fundamental part of human communication. We pause to remember a detail. We pause to consider our opinion. We pause simply because we need to take a breath.
We have to breathe.
Right. The source explains that a calm, deliberate pause actually makes you sound more natural and more human. Yes. It doesn't make you sound confused. It makes you sound thoughtful.
Wow. That completely flips the perspective.
It does.
Rushing your words and trying to talk too fast actually makes you look nervous and panicked.
It tells the other person you're struggling.
Yeah, it shows them you're freaking out. But taking a slow, calm pause shows that you are in control of the situation.
Exactly. A confident pause is always, always better than a panicked rush that leads to stuttering.
Always.
Let's look at the biology of the pause.
Okay, let's hear it.
When the barista asks the fast question, your heart rate starts to go up.
Thump, 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 thump.
Right. By forcing yourself to wait 1 or 2 seconds before answering, and by taking a gentle breath in that pause, you physically slow your heart rate down.
You're controlling your body.
You give your brain's alarm system time to realize there is no tiger.
No tiger here, just a barista.
Exactly. The language center unlocks, and the words become available to you again.
So next time I'm in the coffee shop, and they say, what can I get for you? I don't have to break a speed record to answer them.
Not at all.
I could look at them, smile, take a relaxed breath, and say, let me see, I'll have a large cappuccino.
Yes. That and that short breath are magical tools.
Magical tools.
They really are. They give your brain the processing time it needs to find the simple words. It stops the linguistic mental block before it can even form.
That is amazing. So we're giving ourselves permission to pause, and we're using simple words to create a feeling of safety.
Yes.
Feeling calm is step 1. It turns off the alarm system.
Yeah.
But if we want those simple words to actually flow out of our mouths automatically,
Right.
without having to search for them every single time, we have to prepare our bodies. Calmness is the foundation, but how do we build the house?
To build a house, we need a very specific type of active practice.
Active practice.
We need to develop what's called muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Okay. And the source material provides detailed listening and learning features designed exactly for this purpose.
Muscle memory is a really great concept to explore.
It is.
It's the idea that your body remembers how to perform an action without your conscious mind having to actively think about every single step.
Right, like tying your shoes.
Yeah, or typing on a keyboard or riding a bicycle. You don't think, okay, move the left foot down, now move the right foot down.
Your body just does it.
It just does it.
How does muscle memory apply to speaking English, though?
Well, speaking a language is a deeply physical activity.
Physical.
Yes, it's not just a mental exercise of knowing words in your brain.
Yeah.
Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, your jaw, and your vocal cords, they're all muscles.
Oh, right. I guess I forget that.
Most people do. When you speak your native language, those muscles have been trained since you were a baby to move in very specific patterns.
And they move completely automatically.
Exactly. But English sounds require your muscles to move in brand new ways, shapes, and patterns that your body just isn't used to.
Like if your native language doesn't have the English "the" sound.
Yes, like in the word the.
Right. Your tongue literally doesn't have the muscle memory to make that physical shape quickly. It doesn't. And if you only ever read English books with your eyes...
Which a lot of people do.
Right. Or listen to English podcasts silently, your mouth muscles never get any physical training.
You never go to the gym for your mouth.
Exactly. You might know the word in your mind perfectly, but your mouth doesn't know how to physically produce it smoothly under pressure.
It just fumbles.
So to fix this, the source strongly recommends a practice method called shadowing.
Shadowing. Let's define shadowing. In the physical world, a shadow is, the dark shape on the ground that follows you when you walk outside in the sun.
Right.
It mimics every single move you make. If you raise your arm, the shadow raises its arm.
Perfectly.
So what is shadowing when we're practicing a language?
Shadowing is a method where you listen to a native speaker say a natural sentence, and then you repeat it out loud, trying to act exactly like their shadow.
Okay, so it's the repeat after me method.
Yes, but taken to a much deeper level. You aren't just repeating the words.
What else are you doing?
You are trying to perfectly match their tone, the way their voice goes up at the end of a question. Or down at the end of a statement.
Yeah.
You try to match their speed, and you match exactly where they put their natural pauses.
Wow. I think the best way to understand this is to actually do it.
I agree.
Let's do a short shadowing practice session right now.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you can do this with us.
That's a great idea. Let's use our coffee shop scenario. And the source material mentions using listening focus cues to prepare the brain.
Listening focus cues.
Right, like telling the learner to listen carefully right before speaking.
Okay, listener, this is for you. Whether you're making dinner, sitting on a bus, or just walking down the street, I want you to try this.
Give it a try.
We're going to practice a listening focus cue. Listen carefully. I'm going to say a natural, everyday coffee shop sentence.
Okay.
I will say it smoothly and calmly. Then I want you to repeat it out loud. Try to match my voice perfectly. Even if there are people around you, just whisper it quietly to yourself. Ready?
Here we go.
Listen carefully. I would like a large coffee, please.
Now it's your turn. Repeat after me. I would like a large coffee, please.
Let's do it one more time. Try to match the exact physical movement of the words. I would like a large coffee, please.
That's shadowing.
It feels good to do that out loud.
It really does.
Yeah.
Now, let's make it a little more advanced. Let's add the secret weapon we discussed earlier.
The natural pause.
Yes, the pause. Let's build the pause right into our muscle memory so that we don't feel rushed.
Excellent. Listen carefully to the rhythm and the pause this time. Let me see. I'll have a large coffee, please.
Your turn. Repeat after me. Include the pause. Let me see. I'll have a large coffee, please.
It feels so much less stressful.
Right. Doing this exercise trains your physical body. The source material really emphasizes the repetition of key phrases.
Repetition.
Yes. Repetition doing the same action over and over again is how you carve the path of muscle memory into your nervous system.
It's exactly like practicing a sport, or learning how to dance, or learning how to drive a manual transmission car.
Oh, driving a stick shift is a great example.
Oh, you don't learn a dance routine just by sitting on a chair and watching a video of someone dancing.
No, you'd be terrible at it.
You'd fall over. You have to stand up, physically move your feet, and feel the balance in your body.
You have to do the work.
And you do the exact same step over and over, very, very slowly. Step, turn, step, turn.
In the beginning, it feels very clumsy.
So clumsy.
You might step on your own feet. Your muscles feel totally awkward.
Yes, it feels completely unnatural at first.
Oh.
But you keep practicing slowly in the safety of your own room.
Safe and slow.
Right. And you do it so that when the real dance party starts,
When the pressure is on.
yeah, the music is loud, the lights are flashing, and people are watching you. You don't have to stop and think, okay, now I need to move my left foot 2 inches to the side.
Your body just performs the movement without your conscious brain having to manage it.
It just happens.
The mechanism is exactly the same for language. Shadowing is practicing the dance steps for the muscles in your face.
The dance steps for your face, I love that.
You repeat the phrase, "I'll have a large coffee," so many times in your safe, quiet room that when you finally stand in the noisy coffee shop and the barista asks what you want,
The sentence just dances right out of your mouth automatically.
automatically. You bypass the brain's alarm system entirely because the physical habit just takes over.
You don't have to build the sentence word by word while you're under pressure.
Yeah.
That is incredibly powerful. You're basically moving the responsibility from your panicked brain to your trained mouth muscles.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Okay, so we're practicing our shadowing. We're repeating key phrases out loud to build that muscle memory.
Right?
But this brings up a very, very important danger. We talked earlier about the robotic phrasing problem.
Ah, yes. Sounding like a machine.
Exactly. Where learners just recite memorized textbook sentences and sound completely unnatural. If we're just repeating phrases over and over in our practice, how do we make sure we don't end up sounding like those robots?
That is the big question.
How do we keep our real-world conversations feeling natural and, flowing?
Well, this is what we call the textbook trap. And it's a huge problem for learners who study entirely from written materials.
So how do we avoid it?
The source has a strict rule for avoiding this trap. They state that we must avoid overly long paragraphs without interaction.
Avoid overly long paragraphs.
Yes, and we must avoid using difficult grammar beyond a B2 level in our everyday speech.
Okay, let's look closely at that first part. Avoid overly long paragraphs without interaction.
Right.
That means you shouldn't be talking for like 2 or 3 minutes straight without letting the other person speak or respond.
Exactly. Think of a natural conversation like playing a game of tennis.
Tennis. Okay.
You hit the ball over the net, and then you stop. And you wait for the other person to hit the ball back to you.
Right. You take turns.
You ask a short question, they give an answer, they say something interesting, you nod your head and say, "Yeah, I completely agree," or, "Oh, really?"
So it's a constant back and forth exchange of energy.
It's an active partnership.
An active partnership. I like that.
Yes, but if you try to memorize a giant 10-sentence paragraph from an English textbook and you just recite the whole thing out loud all at once, you aren't playing tennis anymore.
What are you doing?
You're just throwing a bucket of 50 tennis balls right at the other person's face.
Oh, wow. That is such a funny image, but it's so true. I have actually seen this happen in real life.
I'm sure you have. We all have.
Someone will ask an English learner a really simple, friendly question like, "Hey, how was your weekend?"
Right.
And the learner will take a huge deep breath, their eyes will just go totally blank, and they will recite a perfect 5-minute-long story that they obviously memorized the night before.
Yes.
They never stop, they never check to see if the other person is listening, and they never ask a question back. It's a complete monologue.
And the grammar in their story might be absolutely perfect.
All right. They might use all the right verbs and vocabulary.
But it is not a real conversation. It feels strange and robotic to the native speaker.
It feels like a performance.
Exactly. The goal, according to the English Spark framework, is to blend simple vocabulary smoothly.
Blend it smoothly.
You want to connect short, easy sentences together naturally and leave a lot of space for the other person to participate. You want interaction, not a speech.
And what about the second part of the rule? Avoiding difficult grammar and complex jargon.
Right.
The source notes that sometimes, you might really need to use a specific difficult word to explain an idea.
Yes, sometimes it's unavoidable.
They say if a difficult word absolutely must be used, it must be explained naturally in conversation. What does that look like in practice?
It's a brilliant strategy for keeping the flow of the conversation.
How does it work?
Well, think about how native speakers communicate with each other. Even native speakers use words sometimes that their friends might not know.
Sure, especially if it's related to their specific job or a niche hobby.
Right. But a natural communicator doesn't just drop a hard word into the sentence and keep walking.
No, they don't.
They pause, and they explain it using simple words.
Oh, Oh, that's exactly what we did at the very beginning of this deep dive.
Exactly.
When we used the phrase academic jargon, we didn't just assume everyone knew it.
We stopped.
We stopped the conversation for a second, and we explained that it means complicated words used in university textbooks. We used really simple words to build a bridge to the hard word.
And it felt totally natural, didn't it?
It did. It didn't feel like a lesson, it just felt like a chat.
That is how you handle difficult language in the real world. If you're talking to a coworker and you need to use a tricky technical term, you don't need to panic.
Just say the word.
Just say the word and then add, it's kind of like, and then you give a very simple everyday example.
That is such a good tip. It keeps the conversational tennis game flowing smoothly without making anyone feel confused or stupid. But let me challenge this idea for a moment, if I can.
Please do.
This all sounds great for ordering coffee or chatting with a friend at a bar.
Huh?
But what if I'm in a really professional environment?
Okay.
Isn't the whole point of mastering English to learn all the biggest, fanciest, most complex words?
That's what a lot of people think.
Right. Like if I go to a serious business meeting or a job interview at a big international company, I want them to think I'm highly intelligent and capable.
Of course you do.
If I only use simple words, won't they think I'm just a beginner? Won't I lose their respect?
I hear this worry from advanced learners constantly. Constantly.
It's a huge fear.
There is a deep, deep belief that intelligence equals complexity.
Yeah, the big words mean a big brain.
Right. But the source material, and honestly communication experts all around the world, completely disagree with that.
Really?
Yes. The source explicitly warns against relying on complex academic jargon because true fluency, true mastery of a language is not about showing off how many dictionary words you know. It's about clear, smooth, and effortless connection.
Connection.
Yes.
So being a smart communicator actually means being a clear communicator.
Absolutely. Think about the most effective teachers, leaders, or public speakers you've ever listened to. The ones who really change your mind or inspire you.
Okay, I'm thinking of a few.
They don't try to confuse their audience with massive, complicated vocabulary.
No, they usually make things feel really easy to understand.
Exactly. The true mark of a genius is taking a massive, complex idea and explaining it using words so simple that anyone can understand it.
That makes a lot of sense. The ultimate goal is connection, not perfection.
Connection, not perfection. I love that.
You're speaking English to connect your human mind with another human mind. You're trying to share an idea with the barista or solve a problem with your coworker. You are not taking an oral grammar exam.
No, you're not. Overcoming a linguistic mental block requires a major mindset shift.
A shift in how we see the whole process.
You have to realize that conversation is simply a bridge built between two people. If you use simple words, natural pauses, and a calm rhythm, you build a strong, solid bridge.
And ideas can travel back and forth easily on a solid bridge.
Exactly. But if you try to force huge, heavy, fancy words onto the bridge when you aren't ready,
The bridge cracks.
the bridge cracks, the pressure builds, the panic sets in, and the whole conversation collapses.
It all falls apart.
It does.
Wow. We don't need to perform for people. We don't need to impress them with our vocabulary size. We just need to share our thoughts clearly, calmly, and simply.
And when you finally let go of that intense, heavy, need to be a perfect textbook robot, the internal panic simply vanishes.
The alarm system turns off.
It turns off and the mental block just disappears.
This has been an incredibly practical and eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. It's a great framework.
We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's do a quick recap to pull all these ideas together for our listeners.
Sounds good.
We started by defining what a linguistic mental block actually is. We learned that it is not a lack of vocabulary or a lack of study.
No, it's a performance issue.
Right. It is a biological panic response.
Right.
It's that terrifying moment when the pressure of the real world causes the brain's language center to lock its doors, leaving you totally frozen.
We then use the coffee shop scenario to explore the hidden pressures of the real world.
The noise, the people.
Yes, the time pressure, the social fear, the sensory noise. We saw how this environment triggers the fight or flight survival mode.
Making your brain think the barista is a tiger.
Exactly. Making your brain forget your perfect textbook sentences and revert to basic survival words. Coffee. Big.
Right. Once we understood the panic, we looked at how to create calmness. We found that choosing simple words acts as a safety signal to the brain, lowering the cognitive load.
Saving your battery.
Yes. And we discovered the magic of the natural pause. We learned that taking a breath and saying, doesn't make you look bad at all.
Not at all.
It actually lowers your heart rate, stops the block, and makes you look thoughtful and confident.
Finally, we discussed how to make this calmness automatic by building muscle memory through shadowing practice.
The repeat after me method.
Yes. By repeating key phrases out loud, matching tone and rhythm, we train our physical mouth muscles to perform under pressure.
The dance steps for the face.
Exactly. And we agreed to avoid the textbook trap. We won't recite long robotic monologues, and we won't hide behind complex academic jargon. We will choose clear, simple, interactive connection every time.
Connection over perfection. I know that applying all this at once can feel overwhelming. So we have a specific practice assignment for you today, drawn directly from our source material. This is your mission for the week.
It's a very practical physical assignment.
Okay, what is it?
The next time you learn a new, useful English phrase, maybe it's something we practice today, like I'll have a large coffee, or maybe it's a phrase you hear on a TV show. I want you to physically practice it using the shadowing technique.
Say it out loud in your room or in your car.
Yes. Move your mouth muscles. Say it out loud multiple times. But here is the critical part of the assignment.
Listen closely, guys.
I want you to actively practice the pause. Do not just rush through the words. Practice the feeling of thinking.
Wow, practice the feeling of thinking.
Yes. Practice taking a breath, looking up, and saying, Let me see, before you finish the sentence.
Practice being a relaxed human being. Let your body feel what it's like to take your time.
Train your nervous system to accept that pausing is safe.
I really love that. We've really taken this framework apart today.
We really have.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought to consider. As language learners, we spend so much of our time and energy staring at vocabulary lists and grammar rules.
Too much time.
We're constantly trying to shove more and more information into our brains. We think the answer is always more. More words, more rules.
It's exhausting.
But what if the greatest secret to finally speaking a new language confidently isn't about learning more words at all? What if the real secret is simply giving yourself the permission to pause, take a deep breath, turn off the alarm system, and trust that the simple words you already know are more than enough?
That is a profound shift in perspective. It changes everything about how we approach communication.
It really does. Think about that the next time you're standing in line, listening to the loud hiss of the espresso machine. You have the words, you already know them. Just relax and let them out. Until next time, keep practicing your shadowing, keep taking those confident pauses, and keep building simple connections.